So, what are my thoughts about Albania, Tirana? Or I guess we should start from the very beginning. Before I get here, or before I got here, I had to make sure I had service. Being in a country where you don't know the language, you don't want to arrive with zero service on your phone. So the first thing I did is I found a carrier by the name of Airlo. And so what they do is they provide an eSIM, and with that eSIM, you'll be able to get coverage in most places in Europe. So that's the first thing I did, and I believe I paid $32. And the way it works is, as soon as your plane lands in, for example, Albania, you power cycle your phone, and then you activate the eSIM. The instructions to activate are pretty easy. So now you have data, which means your maps work, your Airbnb app works, and of course your internet service is good to go. It's not the fastest, but it'll get you. Now, as soon as I arrived at the airport, of course, giant shift, demographics, the language in the background was extremely foreign to me, just like I'm a foreign to this beautiful place. Now, the reason I chose Tirana is because I feel like this is where I'll be able to extract the most information from. Why? Because it's established and you get so much culture just for spending time here in Tirana. Now, I got an Airbnb for 7 days, and the Airbnb location is located in Blok. Now, Blok it reminds me of New York, downtown New York. It reminds me of downtown LA in California, because you get so many professionals from different backgrounds. One of the first things I noticed is the fast pace. Mondays through Fridays, extremely fast pace. Everyone is on the go. And so just know that if you're trying to connect with locals during the weekday, it's absolutely possible. Just know that everyone is on a time crunch. And that's exactly the lifestyle that I try to escape from, the whole chaos, the demand for your time. So, been respectful. I only approached strangers that had a little bit of body language that I guess welcomed a hi or a hello. That's another thing I want you guys to pick up is when you guys are visiting Albania, Sie means how are you? And that's all I know so far. Let's talk about transportation. So everything is literally within walking distance. And to many, that is a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage for me because if I want to try any type of cuisine, walking distance, if I need to go to a tailor grocery store or buy cigarettes or alcohol or just, take a peek into some of the merchants, every single thing is in walking distance. So if you need an exchange, money exchange, walking distance, everything you guys can think about. Gyms, also walking distance. And if you, for example, go on your phone and you go into your maps and there's a specific location you want to get to, you just hit directions and then you select whether you're going to go walking or in a bus. Now, if you select bus, it'll tell you exactly what bus you need to take or what two buses you need to take to get you closer to your destination. I think it's important to note that if your location is 20 to maybe 25 minutes away, consider walking. You'll be shocked as far as how fast you can get to the location, and it doesn't feel long and it doesn't tire you out. Well, at least it didn't tire me out. So bring proper shoes because there's a surprise on every side of the street. Literally a surprise, something that will captivate you in every corner. Plus, you get familiar with the streets and you're really in the actual mix, right? So for me, walking everywhere has been great. And the reason why is because when I was back in the US, every time I would finish eating, like in the comfort of my home, I had to make sure that I left the house right away and go for a walk or go shoot a few hoops and play basketball to get my body in motion so that I wouldn't crash. At my age, my cortisol levels can get spiked pretty easily. So I have to be mindful of my diet. I have to be mindful of my, the way my activities throughout the day, for the fact that I work on a laptop. I'm not really moving around all day, primarily sitting down. So let's go ahead and fast forward back to Albania. I was talking about the people earlier, how everyone is on a mission, and that's the body language. However, during the first few days here in Albania, I knew that I had to get some guidance from some of the locals. And so I would walk up to people, and my first phrase was, "Do you speak English, or do you speak a little English?" And what I noticed, this is going to help you guys, is most people, I want to say between the ages of, 20 to even 40, most of that demographics, the age group, they spoke English, which was a relief. And on top of that, not only that, but once you start talking to them, there's this sense of friendliness. And all of a sudden, that closed off person that you approached, you can actually feel like you can actually have a drink with them or grab lunch with them. So there was a few people that I saved on Instagram, and I plan to kind of get to know them better, see things through their eyes. They've been here most of their lives. That's another thing, that most Albanians that I actually met here, most of them been living here most of their lives. Now, some of them have gone back and forth between Poland, Greece, and what was the other one? Italy. But yeah, for the most part, Albanians that are born here, they usually stay here. So that's information that I also gathered. Now, when it comes to the amount of money you might spend, and I'm going to say in US dollars, and you guys can use some type of conversion calculator, is I haven't been doing the best job when it comes to budgeting myself on a daily basis. And that's because I didn't want to feel restrained, but I am being mindful of how much money I'm spending. Now, I'm consuming on average 2 meals a day, and just like the locals, I've started having coffee just because it's so casual and it wakes you up, and it's just like it resets you. It's something really interesting. I don't know if I can not do it anymore. So usually that coffee will run you around $2, whether it's an espresso or a macchiato. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is the reason I haven't been staying within my budget when it comes to food is because I wanted to enjoy some of these cuisines. I wanted to enjoy some of the local recommended dishes. So what I ended up doing is on a week average, I calculated that I was spending around 35 USD dollars, that's 35 American dollars a day, just on food. And this consisted of either brunch and lunch, or late lunch and a dinner. So on $35, that was my average. Now, if you multiply that times 30, that's a big number. So you have to be mindful of that. Now, another thing to note is that because I'm in this place called Blok, which is downtown fancy Tirana, the fact that it's like a fancy place and it's considered like a premium expensive place, yes, most places are a lot more expensive than places that would be, let's say, 15 minutes out from Blok, where you actually get to see that reduction in price, especially on food and, well, local services. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing to save myself some money, because my goal is to spend around no more than 1,300 American dollars. That's 1,300 USD dollars a month. And I want that to cover my food, my lodging. I want that to everything. I want $1,300 to cover everything. And so that's my next mission, is basically calculating my daily routine and my overall lifestyle to make sure that I'm not exceeding $1,300. And so if I can do it, I believe anyone else can do it. It's just about getting into the rhythm and discipline. Therefore, for my next Airbnb, which for 30 days, that Airbnb cost me $1,025 for a one bedroom in a nice place. Now, the apartment is brand new. It has fast internet speeds. And as a content creator, I need those fast internet speeds. So that's going to be very helpful for me. And this includes water, utilities, and everything else. But now, because I'm going to have an apartment for a whole 30 days, now I can build a rhythm. Now I can find my balance. And now I can actually start going to the grocery store to see what kind of dishes I can whip up here in Albania, given the ingredients that they have, which I'm going to find pretty fascinating. And I think I'm going to take joy in it because I do love cooking, but I've never cooked out in a different country. So once I kind of get an idea of how much I'm spending at local grocery stores and buying fresh fruit, buying fresh vegetables, I'm sure I can get to that budget of $1,300 that includes my food, even my gym membership, along with my rental, my location, right, my unit. Also want to share with you guys that out here gyms are not cheap. You would think, well, you guys, David, you're in a whole different country. Well, although that might be true, the gyms out here are probably more expensive than the gyms in the United States of America. Why? That's something that I haven't figured out exactly why. I've thought of supply and demand. I thought of different things and I could not come up why. The reason with why in places like other countries, the gyms don't reflect local pricing, like the discrepancy and how much money you can save. For some reason, gyms out here are expensive. I'll give you an example. I walked into a gym called Limitless. Now it's a very clean, prestige gym, but I didn't imagine myself spending $185 a month on a gym membership. I don't. Even though, of course, I can spend that money and invest in my fitness and maybe network with people, I still feel like living in a country like Albania, $185 for a gym membership for me is truly not feasible. So I'm going to continue looking at other gyms and I'm going to continue looking at maybe locations where they do mixed martial arts, some type of martial art, and see if I can keep that cost well under $100. Now, since we're talking about cost, I've also been going around and asking people, what do you guys use for your cellular service? Do you guys use Vodafone or do you guys use a company called One? Now, those two companies are the largest, most popular companies here in Albania. And the information that I received from the locals is this: Vodafone is a tiny bit more expensive, but they seem to have more coverage throughout Albania. For the folks that are using company One, that company is a bit more economical, it's a bit cheaper. But from what I understand is as soon as you kind of get out of the city and you're in the outskirts, the service isn't as reliable. So for me, because I need reliability and I need speed, I'm going to probably go with Vodafone or Vodafone. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Now, once I have my phone service, I'll be good to go. I'll be able to go onto my phone and get things done. Now, how much is the cost for that? Well, the thing is, that part right there is actually really affordable. So you can spend under 40 American dollars, that's under 40 American dollars, for a plan that consists of text messaging, calls, and data. And to me, that's a huge win. That's a very competitive price. With that, I'm pretty happy. Great. One thing I noticed too, guys, because I've walked around a lot, is a lot of the men out here, they like wearing black. Whether it's at the gym, whether it's a night out, whether it's casual clothing. I noticed most men out here like wearing black pants or a black top and black shoes. I'm going to spend some time interviewing guys, asking them why is that their preferred colors, because you rarely see other people, as far as men, wearing brighter colors, lighter colors. So I really stood out because I myself didn't bring too much black clothing. I brought the colors I usually wear. Right now, I'm in this beautiful park called Tirana Lake Park. I could be wrong, but if you type that in, it'll show you this beautiful, huge park. And today here, we're looking at on a Sunday. The time is it's 1 p.m. and there's hundreds of families out here doing all different types of activities. Whether it's hiking, biking, walking, strolling, people watching, reading a book under the tree. This is it. This is beautiful. Some of the things that I still need to learn about Albanian is, of course, the language. I want to learn more phrases, right? There's controversy. Something happened. I was doing street interviews. I post those videos to share insight so that the rest of the world can get some insight from the locals. And I noticed Albanian men started commenting negatively in the videos. And to me, it's understandable. Men, especially in third world countries, they struggle a lot. They struggle to make a name for themselves. They struggle when it comes to status. And the women out here in Albania, quite honestly, hands down, I can tell you that this has been one of the countries where they have the most beautiful, stylistic women. Now, the men, like I said earlier, they're all very much the same. They like wearing black clothing, they'll have similar haircuts, and so on and so forth. So most of the men that were going on there were already making threats. And to me, it's like if some of these Albanian men are friendly, some of them I actually made friends right away. One of them bought me a Red Bull. There's some amazing Albanian guys that I can actually call a brother. There's going to be, just like anywhere in the world, other Albanian men that are haters. And to me, to those haters, I welcome them in the comment section to arrange a meeting place with me. Because if those men have a strong opinion, their actual opinion, their personal opinion, believe it or not, does bring value to the platform, because they might disagree with what I am learning. They might disagree with what I'm saying. And it's important to see the world from many different lenses. So for those men that are watching this video right now and maybe heard something that they disagree with, instead of being bitter and negative in the comment section, just know, guys, that this is what I do for a living. This is the way that I see the world through my very own eyes. So everything that I share with you is just my personal point of view. It's not the ultimate truth. It's just what I see with my very own eyes and how I see the world through my lenses. Sadly, this doesn't only happen in Albania. I've been to other countries where it's mostly the men who would add negativity to the comment section. And the reason why is because a lot of them just scroll and don't have much going on. Most of them that actually leave a negative comment are profiles that don't even have a picture. And all they do is just scroll on their couch in bed, just putting negative out here in the universe. And I can't be judgmental, but I will say that I hope that those men actually do something to better themselves instead of spending and wasting energy talking negatively about someone else's platform. And just know that I'm understanding and that I see every man as a potential brother. But the truth is, society has placed so much weight on the men that, yes, some of these men, doesn't matter what country we're in, we feel invisible. We don't get any attention. And I'm out here, of course, getting myself out of the comfort zone, constantly trying to do something different every day. So before I die, I can say that I actually lived life. So for anyone watching this video that's thinking of traveling but is intimidated or has some type of fear, just know that as soon as you step out of your comfort zone, this is where the magic is. Now, everything won't go smoothly. Things will not go according to plan. But reality is that if you step into your enthusiasm, if you step into your playful side, if you go out there and treat this world like a video game and you minimize the expectation, that's where life is at. If you come into any country with high expectations, those expectations almost 90% of the time will not go according to plan. And that's just the way life is. So that's one thing I have to practice every day is before I go to a scene, before I plan a day where I'm going to be shooting and getting street interviews, I always have to reset my expectation just to remind myself that you might have a beautiful plan, David, but it just not might work out the way you think. And if it doesn't, and that's okay. So if you're watching this video and you've made decisions in the past and it didn't go according to plan, don't feel like you failed. It's okay. All it was a lesson learned. That lesson learned is called life experience. Life experience is actually what propels you forward because that gives you wisdom. So I hope that you spend more time living, making mistakes, than playing it safe and dying faster. My name is David Devato. My goal is to continue travel around the world, giving you guys insight through my eyes, through my lenses, and what I find. If you guys are living in Albania, Tirana, and you guys have a unique story you want to share, I would love to interview you. So if you are fine with that, please leave a comment in the section, and I'll be more than happy to try to make time to get your story out to the rest of the world, because everyone has a unique story. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried a whole different format. Take care. Peace.